Hi, good morning, everyone. All right, so last session we have learned how to use the list collection to perform the bulkification. I was forgot to mention, but there were a few assignments as well. So you have to try with them. So we learn like there are so many other advantages, there are so many other use of collection, but bulkification is the most common one. So let me have a quick recap of all those things. So basically, whenever we wanted to perform any DML operation, particularly on a bulk amount of record. Now, that DML could be an insert, update, delete, merge, upsert, whatever it is. So we know one thing that we have a governor limit that is related to the DMLs that in a single program you could maximum use 150 DML statements, not more than that. And in the past, we have executed a program where I have shown you like if we wanted to perform the insertion operation and we have taken one insert particularly for one record, then at max we can go up to 150 not only, and not beyond that. Because if you try with giving more than 150 DMLs, so system would pop up with an error called 151 system dot DML exception, particularly too many DML statements, 151, something like that. So, but that doesn't mean we cannot perform the DMLs on more than 150 records. We can do this, and we can do this up to 10,000, because with a single DML, you could perform the manipulation up to 10,000 records. So if you are performing an insert operation, you could definitely insert up to 10,000, and you seriously don't require 10,000 DMLs for that. So we adopted one technique, and that is considered to be the best one, and which is basically what we do in program is like we follow a process called as bulkification. So we created the record every time. I mean, we first of all, we don't give DMLs inside the loop. That is the most important thing everyone have to remember. And this one is a best practice as well, that you never use any DML statement inside a loop. So similarly, what we did is like, we have created a collection, a list collection. We have defined a list collection, and this list collection, it was actually list of object, right? Because I mean, considering which object record you are performing the DML operation. So we have defined the list collection of that particular object. So in this case, it was hiring manager. So I've defined a list of hiring manager. If it was, let's suppose it was account. So in that case, I'm going to define list of account, list of contact, and everything. So we created record one by one. We created record one by one, and we have added them. We have added them one by one into the collection. Now, once the loop is completed, that means 200 records is created, and all 200 of them has been added individually to the collection. So once you have everything inside the collection, right? So what we did, we have inserted the whole collection. So when we insert a collection, so indirectly, see, using only one DML statement in this case, we were being able to insert 200 records, and this can be done for next 10,000 times. This can be done for next 10,000 times. So this is what is the process of bulkification, and that was a usual use of a list collection. Now let's come to the second type of collection, which is a set collection. The second type of collection is a set collection. Okay. See, set, there are some significant differences between set and a list collection. And I have already discussed with you guys that we would have to create a comparative studies between all three of them, right? So there may be like few points we already have written. I have told you to write few point of differences between list and set collection. So basically, you have studied in the past, like list is an ordered collection because it maintains the order of insertion of the elements, right? It maintains the order of the insertion. Moreover, every element have a position which is defined as index position. In the list collection, if I will scroll a little bit up, we can see this. We can see this, that every element have an address, have a position, and this position is called as index position. And because elements maintain their positions, elements are being kept inside the collection on a particular position. That's the reason. That's the reason this list collection is called as ordered collection. Now let's come to the second part of this. Set. Set basically is an unordered collection. Whenever any element, like you can see with this diagram, if any element has been stored inside a set collection, like it was first Apex and then Ramesh and then Ramesh, Rajesh, whatever, the elements, they are never placed according to their position. It doesn't have any fixed position. It doesn't have any fixed position. When I say any fixed position, when I'm actually referring to the index position. All right, I'm actually referring to the index position. So it doesn't have any index position as such. So this is the first and the basic difference between one list and a set collection. That list is an ordered collection. Set, on the other hand, is an unordered collection. List is a ordered collection. Set, on the other hand, is an unordered collection. So this means whenever an element got inserted inside list collection, it have an index position. Whereas whenever an element is there inside a set position, it doesn't have any index position. Now, let's talk on point number 3. Let's talk on point number 3. See, try to understand what is the strategy the set collection follows whenever an element comes for an insertion. Like, what is the strategy the set collection follows whenever an element comes for an insertion? Basically, what happens with the list collection is like, list could have duplicate elements. List could have duplicate elements. List allow you to store the duplicate element. So probably if you already have stored one element and you'll try after some time, you try after some elements or immediately after that, if you would try to store the same element once again, list is not going to stop you in any case. So list allows to have duplicate elements. Set doesn't allows. All right. Let me talk on two things first of all, and I'm going to I will be coming back to what I have said about the strategy. So list allows you to have the duplicate elements. You could have duplicated elements inside a list collection. Set doesn't allows. How? We are going to see that. And one more point of discussion. So list have one method called as sort. List have one method called as sort. If you ever wanted that all elements inside the list collection should be sorted in ascending order. There's nothing for descending, however, but for ascending from A to Z. So if you wanted that the elements inside a list collection should be get sorted, because by default they are not. By default they would be present in the order which they are being inserted. They would always be present. The elements would always be present inside a list collection. The elements would always be present in the order they are being inserted. They have been inserted. All right. So by default, they are not sorted. But if you want that I wanted to sort out the elements in the ascending order, we have one method called as sort. We have one method called as sort. For ascending, for descending, there is nothing. I have told you, if you want, you have to construct this logic inside the program. There are some programs by which you can build up your own logic to sort them in the ascending order. But anyways, there's a method for arranging the elements in the ascending order. The method is sort. Now, let's come to this. There are two important things those two things we are going to learn in a different way in the set collection. So what happens when an element got inserted? Let's consider the first element that was inserted in the set collection was Apex. After Apex, it comes Ramesh. Second. Now, what would happen? This element Ramesh would actually be compared with the Apex. And because A come first, R come later. So this element have been inserted later to Apex. Third comes the Rajesh. Now Rajesh would first of all would get compared to Apex. R would be compared with A. So came to know that A comes first, R comes later. Then Rajesh would be getting compared with the Ramesh. And in the first position, both of them have R. In the second, they have A. But in the third position, they have M. And third position, in the Rajesh, it's J. J comes first, M comes later. So what is going to be happen? Rajesh is going to be inserted in the second position, whereas Ramesh get shifted one position to the right. What you are seeing, what you are looking at. When comes Chandra would first of all would get compared to Apex. A come first. Then Chandra would be getting compared with Rajesh. R comes later, C come first. So Chandra is accommodated in between Apex and Rajesh. This happens every time. Kumar would be going to get compared with Apex, with Chandra, with Rajesh. R comes later. K come first. So it has been placed after Chandra. So what does this implies to every one of you? What you have understand over here? I'm giving you this command to unmute yourself. Let's have a discussion on this. What do you understand? What do you understand? Yes.
Sorted in ascending order?
Exactly. As the elements is getting inserted, as and when element is getting inserted, they are being sorted in ascending order by default. Every element by default have its position in ascending order. So we don't, in this case, when I would scroll a little bit down and we are going to understand the methods of set collection. There would be only a few methods inside set collection. And I'm giving you this example right now. See, because the elements, they are already in the sorted form. They are already in the ascendingly they are sorted. What do you see? What do you think? Does set collection would have an additional method called as sort? Is it required? Is it required that set should have a method called as sort? Absolutely not. Why? Because these elements, they are already sorted. They are already sorted. So there are so many methods of list collection which are not there inside set. And set relatively have only a few methods in this. You would going to understand that. You would going to understand that. There's one example that list have sort method. Because elements, they are not sorted. But in the set collection, whenever a new element try to get inserted, it first gets compared with everyone. And accordingly, the position is decided. It is not inserted according to its order. Well, that happens in the list collection. It doesn't happen in the set. Because if it was being inserted in the according to order, then Apex come first. Ramesh comes second, Rajesh comes third. So they are being like, Apex, Ramesh, Rajesh, Chandra, Kumar, like this. No. But this is not as what is happening with the set collection. So there's no order of insertion. They are not being placed according to order. Rather, they are always sorted in ascending order. And that's the reason set is an unordered collection. Set doesn't have any index position. The elements inside the set collection, they are already sorted in the ascending order. The elements, they are already sorted in the ascending order. All right. So this was about a set collection. This was about a set collection. And from programming point of view, now listen this very carefully. Programming point of view. Actually, one more thing before going to further with this. Set doesn't have duplicated elements. Set doesn't have duplicated elements. So what would happen, for example, if let's consider after inserting Chandra, after inserting Chandra, once again Chandra comes. What would happen in that case? What happens if after inserting Chandra, again the Chandra would come? So the same thing, what for the first time the Chandra has occurred, the same thing has been, the same thing is going to be done for the second time. Chandra is going to be get compared with apex. A comes first. So Chandra comes, Chandra is going to be get compared with Chandra. The elements are same. Chandra is getting compared with Rajesh. Came to know that Chandra, I mean, C comes first, R come later. So Chandra is going to be accommodated over here. So that means the element is refreshed. What to say? Elements is refreshed. But Chandra doesn't have any another occurrence. It's not like Chandra. Chandra is going to be placed after Chandra. No, that elements is getting refreshed. The new element would refresh the old element. But for us on the broad level, what we can say, there would be only one occurrence of every element if it is already there. There would always be only single occurrence of an element inside the set collection. Even if element which is already there tries to be get inserted, nothing happens. Nothing happens. So basically, your set collection does not have duplicated elements. So always every element inside the set collection is always unique. Is always unique. Every element inside a set collection is always unique. Is always unique. Now, now listen very carefully. One important thing to know. See, you will be going to find so many videos in the YouTube. Some of them are very good even. And you should do that. I always say yes. Whenever you are studying something, you always should study from all the resources, whatever is there. We try to make it simple, everything as far as possible, but still, you should have that curiosity in your mind to learn the things from multiple resources. If you have time, you should do that. But I'm telling you one thing. When everyone is trying to teach you something, they are focused on explaining you the concept. Like this is set collection, this is set collection. But then you won't find one thing like where exactly we use this. Where exactly we use it. This in the most of the videos, this is something which is lacking. Most of the videos they don't have explained what the concept they have explained, and they have explained it very well. But more importantly, I mean, from your point of view, because you are very novice to this technology, you are very new to this technology. You learn this concept. All right, I know what is a list. I also know what is a set. Even I can, if you would ask me, I could differentiate 3 to 4 points between set and list. But when if I would ask you a second question, all right, tell me in real time where you will going to use list, where you are going to use set collection. Then it comes a difficulty because that is something which is never, which is not being taught to you, and it was not being in most of the videos. So more important, see, more important is to understand. I mean, the first is to understand the concept, and second is the most important point is to understand where to apply that concept. This is the most important thing, guys. And this can only be taught with someone who has a real-time experience or moreover is interested in seeing all this. And that is the reason I always try to relate a concept. What if I'm teaching you something by today, I always try to relate that. If I'm having a live example with me for that, I always try to relate it with some real-time concepts. But unfortunately, these days I mean, whenever I show you something from my domain, from my projects, I have to stop the recording. That's a very unfortunate thing. Previously, I don't used to do that. I mean, in a live recording session, I used to show the things. But then I've told you, like, people have started doing this wrong, and they have uploaded my videos onto YouTube. I don't have any problem getting money if you are getting money from this. I don't mind this. I really don't mind this. It's not about money what you are getting from the subscription and all. It's like, I have watched that video and it has all the real names of my client, the projects for which I was working there. And that's really a difficult thing. Somebody could take an objection with me. I could even lost my job if that has been proved that these videos are of my I could even lost my job. Not just this, they are going to put an allegations on me, legal allegation. So this is something which is really very serious, guys. This is something which is really very serious matter. But but then I have ignored the things like because if I wanted to investigate the things, it's automatically going to come into the picture. That's why I'm just ignoring this, and I'm just hoping that nothing should be happen in the future, the coming future. Otherwise, that's a very serious matter. All right. So anyway, so basically, see, almost in every case. Now listen this very carefully, and better would be like if you would write it down. It would be a good thing. Almost in every case, almost in every program, I would going to use a list collection for storing the bulk amount of data. Whenever, let's say, I wanted to do something on more than one records, obviously it could be 200, 2000, 20,000, 2 lakh, whatever it is. So whenever I have a requirement to do something on more than one records, more than one, because if it is one, I could store it inside a variable. But if the records are more than, there is more than one record, I'll always prefer a list collection. The first preference goes to the list collection. So you would going to say that almost every time I would store the data inside a list collection. In a real-time program, I'll always store it inside a list collection. Now, second, particularly whenever we wanted to have unique elements, whenever you have any such requirement where you wanted to have all elements only once inside the collection. That means every element is a unique element and there is not a duplicacy. Then we go with the set. And where this happens, again, I'm expanding that as well. There would be so many times in the programming, where the situation would require, to store the IDs of the record. Understand? So if you go to the salesperson, for example, you go to the account. All right, and let me try to fire a query over it so that you would understand. See, if I had fired this query, now you can see there are 138 records. And these all are the IDs of them. These all are the IDs of them. 001 stands for account. This is an 18-digit ID. Every record in Salesforce have an 18-digit alphanumeric ID. The first 3 characters of every record ID represents object ID. 001 is for account, 003 is for the contact, 005, 006, 5 is for user, 6 is for opportunity. Learn as many of them you can. All right. So if in a programming situation, there is a need to store the IDs. There's a need to store the IDs. Now, because see, ID is always unique. ID is always unique. That time, I would prefer set collection over list. That time, I would prefer set over list. Why? Because set, even though, for example, if I am having, let's say 100 IDs, I just don't want it to duplicate them. So I would prefer, in that case, I would prefer set collection rather of list, set over the list. So this is basically, whenever you wanted the data should be unique data and does not have any duplicacy, then we go with the set collection. Now let me show you with this program. But before that, let's talk about the various methods. A set collection have. It have add. List also have add. But then in the list collection, there were 2 different versions of add. Add along with the element, add index position along with the element, right? In the list collection also we have add. Set also have add. Actually, methods are same. In both methods are same. But the set relatively have very few methods as compared to the list collection. Like the list have two add methods. One of them, in one of them, you have to mention the index position along with the element. Set doesn't have any index position. So that second method which reports the index position, when the parameter which requires an index position, it has been automatically eliminated. So set collection have only one add method. That to be, you just have to give the element name. So for example, if you have define and how to define, this is the format. The format is same. Format is same. Format is same. Set. It was list. Here it is set. Set of data type. Set name, new, set of string made this as a default constructor. So for example, if we have defined a set collection called as product name, then collection name dot method name always it is. So collection name is product name dot method is add. But I wanted to add laptop. Then second add mobile. Add mobile. So L will be going to be get compared with M. L comes first, M comes later. Then let's say desktop. Desktop is going to be get compared with L. D is compared with L. D come first, L come later. So it is being arranged in the front. And this way you have added all the elements. This way, like mobile, desktop, tab, air conditioner. A comes always first. So it has been added in the first position prior to desktop. So this way, like, then there's a method add all, here also add all. But then in the list collection, no, it's same. No, it's same. Yes. You can add the elements from an array. You can also add the elements from a list collection. You can also add the elements from another set collection. Add all is same. There's no difference. Size method is same. Is empty is same. Contains. Remove. Remove is for the single element. Clear is for complete method. I mean, all of the elements, they are going to be get cleared, right? Clone is to copy and paste. Boolean equals is to compare two of them, right? So these methods we already have learned. You learn them in the list collection. They have same execution in the set collection. There's no another method over here. The methods, if you have learned them in list, that means you already have learned them for the set. All right. So this is what. Let me now show you one example. Let me try to copy this program and I'll just try to execute this quickly in the execute anonymous window, and you're going to understand this. Okay, so here we have created a program where, like, for example, you define a list collection, right? You defined a list collection where the list collection have all these elements. If you would see how many elements are there, like it's a list collection. How you have defined? Simple list of a string. List of a string, and these are the elements. Is Ram, and then Kumar, and then Pramesh, Suresh, Sampath, Rajesh, and then once again you have Kumar, Chandra, and Ram. Now Ram is duplicated or not, right? We're going to see, because in the first Ram, the R was capital, in the second R is small. So is this elements, they are same or they are different? They are different, because see, plus R and small r, they would have a separate, different the ASCII codes, right? Capital R is having a different ASCII, whereas small r is having a different ASCII. So what would happen with this? Let's understand that as well. So now these all are the elements inside these all are the elements inside a list collection, right? At least allow them to have duplicated. Now, if I would print this, for example, let me print up to this. So if I would print this, you will see the elements inside the list collection. These all are the elements inside the list collection. These are the elements of list collection. All right. These are the elements of list collection. Now, after this, we have defined a set collection. After this, we have defined a set collection. Set of a string with some name. So I have given unique element set as a name. And now what I'm doing is, like, see, unique element set, I'm in the name of the collection dot add all. So add all is to copy something from another collection. I have given the name of this collection, customer name. So what is going to be what is going to be happen? All of these elements inside this collection are going to be get copied, are going to be get copied into unique element, but the duplicated elements was going to be get removed. Now see this. So if I would execute this once again, you're going to see that. See, it was having RAM, and moreover, they are, yeah, they are being sorted. They are sorted in the ascending order automatically. So we have Chandra Kumar. So there were two Kumars over here, right? But then the occurrence has been removed. Only single element would occur. The second occurrence would automatically get removed. All right. And capital R and small r, they are considered to be two separate elements because they have different ASCII codes. Although the character is same, but the ASCII is different, right? So this is what, and there would be so many other purposes for which, not so many, but particularly whenever I would be storing IDs, I'm going to make a use of set collection. So we're going to see that. Don't worry. As and when it comes in a program, I'm going to explain you. All right. So majorly these are the differences between a list collection and a set collection. Right. So go with them by today. Tomorrow, I'm going to start with the map collection. Map is entirely a different collection. Map is entirely a different collection, right? We're going to see this by tomorrow. Yes. That's all for today. Any questions? Any questions? All right, then. Thank you so much for joining.